The greatest mystery of Stonehenge is why go to Stonehenge? Like, no, seriously. All it is just a bunch of rocks stacked on top of each other. Like, you can't even go up to it anymore. That's been prohibited. So, all you're doing is just looking at a bunch of rocks stacked up to each other, and you can't even go up to it. Then again, it might be preventing people like me from pushing them all down like dominoes. Then again, I would probably be at the mercy of the British government if I did do this. And we all know what happens when you're at the mercy of the British government. Now back to Stonehenge. I don't get why this thing was even built. My personal theory is that some Celtic people are all like, hey, why don't we go build a giant stone structure in the middle of nowhere in hopes of fooling a bunch of unfortunate suckers into thinking this was some interesting memorial to some stupid god, even though it was just a dumb thing that we made. Yeah, that sounds great. I'll go get my toolbox and pickup trucks. Yeah, let's go build this thing. Unfortunately, my theory was proven wrong because apparently historically that the Celts came to Stonehenge 1,000 years after the fact. And it took another 1,000 years for humanity to realize, hey, maybe construction would be a hell of a lot easier if they had freaking tools. And it took another 1,000 years for the pickup truck to be built, minus like 30, I think, for the car to be built in order for the pickup truck to be built. You get what I'm saying. It basically means one thing. Time travel is real. I am correct. Take that, history. Okay, now that I've said that, let's snap back to reality and tell you why Stonehenge was really built. Okay, so scientists discovered what Stonehenge really was meant for, which completely shocked me because I thought that the people who made Stonehenge were just lesser human beings, like they were violent, primitive, mean, and horny all the time, if you know what I'm talking about. Well, they were still that, but also they were intelligent thinkers who thought of a good idea. For you see, they built Stonehenge because they were building a giant clock. Sure, it doesn't look like a clock. It looks more like something a toddler would have built with playing blocks. But then again, they probably were considered toddlers to modern humans because, hello, they were still violent cavemen. Plus, they could have just built a giant sundial. Sure, it's not as impressive as other clocks, but, it's more clear than a bunch of stones stacked onto each other. But it would also be pretty impractical because they weren't tracking the day, they were tracking the moon. Which was pretty confusing because back in those days, us normal people did the logical thing and worshiped the moon as a god. Why didn't you do that, weirdos? But then again, they did do rituals there, so I guess they did believe the moon was a god. Did I just call my homies weirdos? Does that make me a weirdo? Or does that make me a logical weirdo? I'm confused. Now that I am done ridiculing Stonehenge, now it's time to give it some constructive criticism. Because if you hate something, tell it why you hate it. And it might improve so you hate it less. After all, I tried it before. There was this kid who was annoying me. I told him I hated him so much because he was so annoying. And I think he'll change to become a more likable person. Or its parents are gonna find me and kick my arse. Either way, there's a 0.0000000.1% chance that kid will be a better person and I won't be hospitalized. Now back to constructive criticism. Here are my takes on how to make Stonehenge great again. I was doing a Dale Gribble voice. Don't mock me. Stonehenge. This is probably the most British out of them all because nothing says you're British quite like eating one of those messed up cookies. Or having bad dental hygiene. Wait, am I just mocking the entirety of the UK at this point? Because if so, I'm sorry. Also, coffee is better than tea. That's an undeniable fact. That's the whole reason we threw it into the ocean. You can fake the American spirit and the coffee bean and Starbucks, apparently. Let's get back to Stonehenge, because that's what the whole video is about. You weren't clicking onto this just for me to hate on the UK. Carhenge. Because nothing's more masculine, quite like putting a bunch of cars on top of each other to create some stupid little structure. Oh, and one last thing. You have to have a driver's license in order to visit this damn thing. Sorry, kiddos, but you can't come. Now back onto the topic of Stonehenge. Domino-henge. And because I do not want to be sued, I have to state publicly that this is no way affiliated with the brand whose name I cannot say in any way or form. Also, I do not like the brand whose name I cannot say, this product, which I cannot say what product it is. And anyway, yeah, I absolutely hate it. Now back to Domino-henge. I'm just gonna say this. This would probably be the dumbest out of them all. Not because it's stupid or unimpressive. It's because it probably won't last long. Because me and other buttheads would probably just push this damn thing down. I mean, it is in human nature to want to destroy things that others spent a lot of time and effort on in order to make them feel bad. Now I'm just making this sad. Now for the one I saved last, because it is the best out of them all. It is the one I will give the unofficial first prize PNG to, and will marvel at it for centuries to come, even though I probably won't live that long. Introducing your grand winner, bum bum bum, Invisible Henge. And no, this is not a boring old soccer field. This actually does have invisible henge in it. You just can't see it because you're not wearing your goggles that help you see invisible things. And yes, they are real. You just can't buy them because only billionaires can afford them. So I guess Elon Musk can see invisible henge while us commoners can't. Huh? Okay, now let's thank today's sponsor who forced me to make this video. Easter Island, a beautiful island full of these beautiful head creatures that do not come to life at night and say dum dum want gum gum. No, that's just a stereotype created by one of the greatest movies ever. It's kind of like National Treasure, but instead of being a grand adventure through American history, instead it's about a man who has the night shift at a place that things come to life at night and harass him. Wait, that sounds familiar. But anyways, visit Easter Island, a beautiful place that is not at all occult ritual grounds. Just don't leave your kids alone. They will go missing, especially if they have gum on them. Unless it's black licorice, you weirdos. But anyways, visit Easter Island, especially this Easter. I mean, after all, the Easter Bunny lives here. That way you can show your stupid kids how the Easter Bunny really works. Because every Easter, the Easter Bunny will drunkenly come out of his hole, and if he sees his shadow, he would tell his side chick to lay the eggs. The side chick, knowing what's best for her, will go and abandon them, and then you go and do the Easter Bunny's dirty work and go find his unborn children and eat them. For those of you who think that's barbaric and cruel, I mean, come on, that's what Easter is. I mean, why else do people celebrate Easter? Because I can't think of any other reason. So yeah, visit Easter Island. It is way better of a vacation than at Stonehenge. Like, seriously, what's so great about it? There's no magical statues that beat up children for their lunch money. Seriously, I'd visit Easter Island just to be bullied by a bunch of talking heads. Thank you for watching. The fact that you heard me say that sentence to you proves that someone finally listens to me. It isn't even the FBI this time. That's awesome. Also, fun fact, did you know that some random gentleman left a bottle of wine at Stonehenge? And good thing it was wine, because that was left there for 300 years. Man, it's a shame we don't live in my fantasy world where time machines exist. Because I really wanted to give this man a high five, and now I can't, because he's dead. Man, this sucks. Psst, I don't really hate Stonehenge. Don't tell the statues. My school's having donuts for lunch. I need my lunch money.